you ever collected. From the phones, from watches, all the photos you have taken, the GPS location where you are, and so on. And intelligent homes going forward. And all these are going to help us make intelligent, smart decisions about what to recommend and what to provide as an online internet service. So why now? This is an interesting question. Why now? Okay. I think there are several key things that makes it happen, and this is a perfect one. Only this couple of years, it's going to change the world and accelerate the pace of doing so. This is the time. So you want to start a company, this is the time. Big application. First of all, we have cloud computing, right? So a few years ago, people start understanding how to process a lot of data in the cloud computing system. In the past, there are big data managed by some big companies buying IBM mainframes and then crunch all the numbers themselves. Like Walmart, for example, they built great data warehouses so that they can know within 15 minutes what has been sold at every single point of sale across the United States. These are all big data applications. It's been done 10, 20 years ago. But what's different right now is that everybody can start doing so using cloud, using Amazon cloud. And in China, there are many clouds offered as well. And also, the not only so of their public clouds, engineers, technologists, are beginning to program in a way they can do these large-scale distributed computing fashion. And this only happened in the last couple of years, where all the computer science graduates, they'll come out and they'll see, oh, this is how I can generate this data processing. And it's becoming easier and easier. The barrier of entry is becoming lower and lower. So cloud computing make it happen, and all people can contribute to that. Big data, of course, there are more data, a lot more now than before, to make something intelligent. AI, of course, the deep learning algorithm, it's been around, I think the breakthrough came really around 2007. It's only until after 2010, 2011, when they started applying these deep learning technologies into some of the tough problems that they couldn't solve before, like recognizing images, like recognizing voices with very high accuracy, and also discovering new drugs by crunching the proteins and DNA sequences. So all these things are happening with these AI technology, with the data, with the cloud. And also, people behavior changes. Today, I'm looking at image search and voice search. Today, people search on Baidu through voice images about 10% of the time. 10%. People will speak into it. I don't know, do you use Siri or voice search on your phone? Yeah? Good. Wow. I guess the percentage on in the post-90s group is even higher. You see that in the next 5 years, 50% of the query searches today will be voice or images. Probably perhaps more so voice. So that's again, that's going to change the way you look at the world. In fact, that might change the way how a phone looks like. Imagine you have, right now the accuracy for many of the technologies, leading technologies, we have 95, 96%. But it's still not 99.9%. When you have voice recognition working at 99.9%, you bet. You can just talk to the phone and the phone understands why you need to have buttons at all. Can you imagine that? It's a new kind of phone. It's up to the you, post-90, how to use the internet, given this such high accuracy of voice recognition and voice search. Correct? And these technologies may be applied, the internet technologies apply to all industries, right? And here I want to throw questions, right, to all of you. It can be applied to retail, dining, travel, education, finance, right? In Baidu, we see all this information. We have advertisers across all these industries, and healthcare. I think we want to talk about healthcare later. Providing this information, right? So the question we ask ourselves, and I think many of the executives are asking among the high-tech industry as well, is it internet plus an industry, or is it an industry plus internet? How many of you think this is internet plus industry? Raise your hand. few hands. How many of you think it's industry plus internet? Raise your hands. Okay, a few more. Yes. Okay. And how many of you can tell the difference between internet plus industry? Maybe the rest of you. Okay. Yeah. It may sound simple, but actually we spend a lot of time thinking about it. What that means is this, right? So then as a startup, oh, I've been looking at Baidu, I'm looking at Alibaba, and I know internet technology very well. Okay, I'm gonna solve a tough problem to address a mobile user's needs when you do traveling or education. Right? So what do they do? Right? They say, oh, let me start a company and I'll hire somebody in the education sector to tell him all the domain knowledge that he needs to build a good service in the internet. So that's internet plus industry. Then the flip side, of course, is that, oh, I'm with Singapore, for example. Singapore is one of our big customers. Do you guys go to Singapore before you come here? Yeah, don't be shy. It's not cheating. It's not it's not the same. So yeah, the good customers they really help everybody get good scores in tests and so on. Right. So they are in the education field, right? So they will say, oh, I better get onto the internet, right? So I have fast internet. I have to bring education onto the internet. That's what they do. They look into online education, and they learn how to make education more seamless, maybe more personalized one-to-one as opposed to a big classroom, or maybe through the MOOC method like Coursera, where somebody can teach, single one can teach GRE courses for the whole world, or GMAT courses for the whole world. Yeah. So, which model do you think has a higher chance of succeeding? So that's why I ask questions. If you think the internet plus industry model will succeed, again, raise your hand. Wow, so even after the explanation, you are still more pessimistic about the internet. And again, industries changing itself, transforming itself by embracing the internet. Raise your hand. Okay, so I guess that's by far still the majority. So it's an interesting question, very interesting. We see internet being an agent of change, and big companies like Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu, and we are now looking to all these kind of services, from retail, dining, and so on, from an internet perspective, and trying to transform it. And the way we do so is by investing in a lot of startups, and we try some ourselves, and try to drive them. Of course, the industry, they try to embrace the internet as well. Which one will succeed? I think whoever gets there first will succeed. For example, Baidu and Alibaba and Tencent, right? If you want to go into the education field, we'll hire some of the best people we can find in the education field, join us, work deeply with us. So we actually have a business group just doing so. Okay. Now on the flip side, the single founder says, oh, I'm going to hire the smartest internet guy to come join me and to build that great infrastructure for serving internet education. So who's going to get that first? Who's going to get into a real internet-powered education? I think there'll be a race of talent, isn't it? There'll be a race of talent. So for the internet companies, I think we are hopeful. We think that we can run quicker by getting some of the internet, some of the industry expertise to join us. So my bet is with the first group. So don't be discouraged if you are the minority raising the hand. So it brings to the topic of smart services, right? And what are smart services? Recommendation. So I'm just showing a very simple example. This Mr. Wong, okay, opening up a Baidu map. I say, oh, what's for dinner? Right? Going on at 7:30, he's at downtown. And then from the past, we kind of understand him as a user on the internet. And his preferences, he likes seafood, and then you want to keep it simple, he travels a lot, he listens to concerts, he was in Hamburg before, and so on and so forth, right? All this information, disparate information, might say, does it matter? I don't know. We go into these big algorithms, there's billions of nodes to hunt numbers. From the user profile, and a specific time and location. We go through these service indexes, knowledge graph, we do prediction, we do ranking, and this is what we do as technologists. We play with these numbers and rank them, you say, aha, we'll recommend you to 洗澡员. Has anyone of you tried 洗澡员? Maybe. Wow, all right. One here. Okay, excellent. Another one. Okay. It's actually started by an ex-Baidu employee. And Baidu engineer, he went to Kellogg and he said, I'm going to transform fast food. And then he picked one fast food, which is Rojiang. And then people start lining up in front. And of course, he's using what affectionately called 互联网思维, internet thinking, to transform this traditional business. So it's a tiny fast food. Hopefully, it will become a franchise in the years. So we recommended this service, and we went into effect. So we believe that behind these services, AI technology is the driving force behind these smartphones. So I'll show two examples here. Uber, and on the right is Baidu Waimai, it's a Baidu takeout. It looks like a drop-off for those of you who are not. So I think Uber is doing great. It's growing like wildfire, even in China and around the world. It has some big algorithm behind it. There's some game theory behind it. And there's some optimized pricing strategy and some user intent prediction. Okay? So all these come from what? Number crunching, machine learning, prediction, ranking, in deciding who dispatching which driver to where the users are. And the better you can predict, the more efficient you are. Okay. Likewise for Waimai. It's doing a prediction about where the orders will be at certain times. After a certain time, you can kind of see the pattern, and you can dispatch the delivery boys, okay, ahead of time to different locations and optimize the routing as they go through it. Okay. So this planning and dispatch, intelligent dispatch, is the fundamental key. We look at many companies in this space, okay, in the takeoff space. And we realize that as we talk to many VCs as well, because some of these VCs are interested in investing in Baidu Waimai as well. And then after they look at that, they realize that there are a lot of startup companies today saying, oh, I provide internet service, and because I'm a friend of this Cheng, so I get this connection, I get this business, and so on. Or I have 2,000 people on the ground every day, right, signing deals for me. And then that's why I provide the best service, because it's the most comprehensive offering. So all these things you can do, of course, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do all that. To run a successful takeout business, okay, the product offering, I mean, is more complete, the better, right? But I think you have to ask yourself whether that's enough to have a competitive edge. Okay. So you have to look at the fundamental of the business. Is the business driven by scale, like winner take all? Okay. If that's the case, then you really sink all the money in, you take all the market, and you win, and then eventually you go. But some of these markets may not be that way. The cost of, just like a lot of internet services, the cost of switching is low. Okay. Then you have to provide a unique value proposition. Why you? And why not 10 out of 100 others? Same thing, Baidu went through the same generation, right? You have the 10,000大战, 100,000大战, 10,000, thousands of startups, like 100 startups, all fighting each other, eventually evolve a few. But the process of evolution, eventually, I think there are several key things, right? The user experience has to be good, right? Otherwise, you will not have repeat customers, right? And then the other part of the supply has to be good. So both the supply and demand, you have to sort manage them well, okay? And then that has to be done with the algorithm. And all this learning, we're kind of getting it from, like, the search ad system at Average, where you have user coming, looking at your website, show the right ads. So you have to balance the ecosystem, give the best user experience. Otherwise, there's no difference between choosing your platform and the other platform. So we believe that doing things smart, understanding what is user happiness metrics and what are the supply and demand metrics, will help you drive the algorithm to make this happen. So for the couple of slides, just for those of you who are not familiar with Baidu Cheng. It's in many cities right now, and it's very simple. With the mobile phone, you just order what you want, and then you'll be intelligent enough to understand what you like, what you prefer, given the specific time and location. And then you just pick the order, and within 40 minutes, you'll be sent to a doorstep. Okay? It's a great time to live in China. You don't have to go out and it comes to your doorstep. Movie tickets booking, right? Similar order. Right now, you can buy movie tickets online, pick the seats, and then you can find out recommended movies and which are much closer to you and so on. Best time to suit you. It knows your schedule. Right? Smart home services of course have. Several of the companies are also providing this now. We are partnering a company called like Kellogg. You can like send housekeeping services, nanny services, and cleaning services to your doorstep. Again, through a few clicks of the button, they'll show up. It's actually working pretty well. And it's just growing and it's transforming the way people live in the city. Healthcare, finding the right doctors. I think the big companies, Baidu, Ali, and Tencent, and there are many others as well, are all looking at helping users find doctors and hospitals more efficiently. And they can make an appointment, right? So we understand their needs, recommend them, and they make the appointment. So services like this, we actually encourage more competition. We encourage more people to start companies to try to solve this problem. Because ultimately, people's lives will get changed.